Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost.
Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-579-6184. That's 800-579-6184. What do you have to lose? Call 800-579-6184.
And that is a touchdown, New Orleans!
This is Saints quarterback Derek Carr, and you are listening to Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs, and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018148868.
Visit SiriusXM.com/go to quickly sign up online and activate your radio. Sometimes there aren't enough hours in the day, and sometimes there are way too many. So why not fill them with SiriusXM? Think about it. You can wake up with Howard Stern in the morning, let commercial-free music get you through the daily grind, and then wrap it up with news, talk, and comedy on the way home. All you've got to do is visit SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly, or call 844-711-8800 now. And if the day doesn't go faster, at least you know it'll sound much better.
Fans, this is Tom Brady, and I'm back on Sirius XM for another season of Let's Go with Jim Gray and Larry Fitzgerald.
Let's go, baby.
I'm kicking off the next chapter of my career and talking with some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment.
Charles Barkley. I wish I could say positive thing about everybody all the time, but if you play bad, I can't get on TV and tell people you played good.
Catch Let's Go Mondays at 6 Eastern on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, and exclusively on the Sirius XM app.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Johnny of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. The Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people with 29 podcast applications. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! Don't you know it's Halloween? Happy Halloween! All right, some people say Harvest Day, whatever that is. I'm going to say today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade. It's standard in the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them to sit you with a good Lord split you. If that makes sense to you on this beautiful October the 31st, 2023. And what did James Brown say? He said, I feel good. You knew that I would. I feel nice. Like sugar and spice. So nice. So nice. I got you. Hey! We want the real James Brown. You can't have the real James Brown. You can have the real Big C. Give me some praise. I think I got a sugar high. Yeah, I'm high on sugar. You can only eat so much cotton candy. Oh my goodness, who made that stuff? They need to put that in a bottle and give it some brains. Put that in the bottle. Oh my goodness. They say curry. When you have the Halloween candy, they say do it in moderation. I said now I understand because I feel good. I knew that I would. I feel nice. Like sugar with spice. So nice. So nice. I got you. Blame it on the sugar. Oh my God. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. You can find us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, TuneIn Podcast, Good Pods Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can also follow Big C Sports on GeoSavan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Peapod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbang, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Prodigy, Podcast Republic, and there's also one that I forgot because I got a sugar high. Allfeast.ai, give that some praise. The robots are trying to take over, but I think I ate a robot. This cotton candy, that stuff should be illegal. I've heard about driving under the influence. You should not do that. You should also not drive under the influence of too much cotton candy, if that makes sense to you. I want to tell you, you can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV podcast platforms all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Really do appreciate that. As this candy, I think the candy wears off in about 6 hours. So imagine screaming for 6 hours. Wow, that stuff is good. You know what's also good? I love being a part of our PSA with the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know any veterans going through issues, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on, and they will do what they can to help our veterans. I really do appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light. And I believe God when he said it. Because there's a lot of light shining in my life right now. I've been feeling like I'm on a candy cane high. I don't know why I've eaten so much candy. You know, they give you that stuff. You can't eat just one. You can't eat just one candy cane. Man, I'm telling you, it's all fair and love and war. I always produce the show. Number 2, I direct all the topics. Number 3, I broadcast all the shows. Number 4, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. And we should all have more laughter. I love having laughter. And then I'm telling you, I do all the commercials up front. Unlike most shows, when they do the commercials on an hour show, they may have 4 pauses. Well, they would do their slew of commercials, and I do mine all up front. I just keep going and going and going and going. I love giving going and going some praise, especially when you got a lot of cotton candy in your mind if that's what I'm trying to do. All fair is love and war. Everybody knows that life is fun when you have a lot of cotton candy in your system. Give cotton candy some praise. I'm trying to get it out of my system, but it's all fair and love and war. And then I'm telling you, as I do the stats provided, the storytelling, I even do the play-by-play. You know, we have the World Series tonight. Runners on first and third. The counts for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, hit deep. Right field, back to the wall. Hooray! Say hello to my little friends. I love saying the girls love the long ball, and men love to hit deep. If that makes sense to you, really do appreciate that. And then I'm telling you, the show's uploaded to 29 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City, and I'm in Dimdale Hills, California. And then I'm telling you, I always make sure that it's streaming also on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And then number 10, I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew. Back in the days at Salem Media, really do appreciate that. I love what I'm doing with Big C Sports. There's a lot going on, from talking reparations. We have football, we have basketball, baseball. The World Series is also in tow. And even the good old boy, Prince Charles, is talking about reparations now, reparations forever. I'm telling you, it's happened even in New York City. They're trying to follow California's plan. What happens first in California happens elsewhere. California is the 4th or 5th largest economy in the world. And what happens out here, people tend to follow. I want to pay homage to Janie Harr of the Associated Press, because she did an article on reparations for a sports show. Yes, a sports show. She called me after I went to a reparations task force, and I heard ring, ring. I picked up the phone. I said, hello. She said, hi, this is Charlton Curry. I said, yes. I said, how can I help you? She said, this is Janie Harr with the Associated Press. And I said, well, how'd you get my number? She said, we have our ways. I said, well, how can I help you? She said, I heard you speak at the Reparations Task Force rally, and I wanted to get your opinion on reparations. And you know what I told her? I said, I want the same thing that President Abraham Lincoln meant for us to get. I said, reparations now and reparations forever. And give that some praise. She also mentioned President Joe Biden, who's going to sign reparations by executive order. And she mentioned Vice President Kamala Harris. Also, California Governor Gavin Newsom. Now you have Prince Charles of England. He's saying, you know what? We should pay reparations to descendants of chattel slavery. And give that some praise. It's not just Big C Sports. Even New York City is looking at reparations for descendants of chattel slavery, because everybody's been robbing black folks since 1619 to 1865. They've been robbing us. Look at all that free labor, all the lynchings, the selling off of children. Imagine what that did to a whole group of people. And selling children. Selling children. Think about that, selling children. The United States government, it sanctioned that. It sanctioned selling of black children. It sanctioned selling of black children. It sanctioned selling of black children. It sanctions 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 selling of black children. How dare you not pay reparations? And now the country's starting to wake up. I don't sound like a fool now, because many people that I know and respect, they said, Curry, you're going to sound like a fool. Talk about reparations. And now you even have Prince Charles realize that he wants to meet God someday too. You can't go with unclean hands. Give that some praise. Do it right now. The time is now. No more shucking and jiving. And one of these days, our fellow black brethren on the media, they'll start to follow that path that Big C's been on also. I want to give some praise to a lot of people, because I didn't just get here on my own. I'm a voracious reader. I don't know everything, but I know a lot. I know a lot about a lot of things, but I don't know everything, if that makes sense to you. But I do know how to give some praise. I want to give God praise, because it's all fair and never war. I love giving God praise. Matthew 7:7 said, ask you shall receive, seek you shall find, and knock it shall be open unto you. And I say reparations now, reparations forever. That's what I'm knocking and receiving for, if that makes sense to you. I know it's Halloween, and yeah, I'm all jacked up on candy, and I feel really good. I already told you I feel good. I knew that I would. But I do want to praise the California Reparations Task Force, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And so is the task force finding. They presented over 1,100 pages to the state legislature in California. the United States government that sanctioned slavery. So when people say, well, we don't owe anything to those descendants of chattel slavery, imagine getting a life insurance policy, and when it's time to pay it out, it goes to the people that sold you. And then you realize you paid out to the wrong people. And how do you go with a clean conscience to any court in America and say that we don't owe the real people that deserve the payouts? The descendants of chattel slavery that built this country for free. We give $100 billion like handshakes to different countries that did not even build the United States. There would be no United States of America without President Abraham Lincoln asking black soldiers to join the Union to defeat the Ku Klux Klan and the Southern Confederates. I know you want to watch sports, and they got too many of us hoodwinked on sports. Right now, every person that has decency and love in their hearts for their ancestry, no matter what color you are, they should be championing reparations now, reparations forever, and give that some praise. I'm going to do my part. I want to praise the California Reparations Task Force because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I know a lot of people are drunk in sports, but I want to thank the chair, Camila Moore. She's the chair of the California Reparations Task Force. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. I want to thank Dr. Emmett C. Brown, the vice chair of the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank the #1 Senator of the United States, Senator Stephen Bradford. He is brilliant. He's the one who authored Name, Image, and Likeness that helps college athletes get paid. He's also on the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. Give him praise. Going to be meeting with him shortly. And also I want to thank Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepping. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Reginald Jones Sawyer, Assembly Member. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I also want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Dr. Javon Scott Lewis. He's also a professor at California Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. And also I want to thank Attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's part of the California Reparations Task Force and already received reparations as descendants of Chinese Americans. If that makes sense, give them some praise when they intern Japanese Americans in internment camp. His family's already got paid out. He knows what he's talking about. How dare you not support that? And I love bringing that up. This is CNN. I also want to thank CNN, the source with Caitlin Collins, weeknights 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CNN, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I also want to thank this is PNC Private Bank, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I need $6 billion. I want my reparations now, if that makes sense to you. I want to thank Double O, part of the National Payout Committee of the National Black Wall Street. She sent me Executive Order 13985 that was signed by, give that some praise, signed by President Biden in one of his first days in office. And a lot of people don't even know that, but they know the name. They know that James Harden got traded to the Clippers. They know that Chase Young got traded to the 49ers. But learn this too. Double O sent this to me on the first day in office. He signed Executive Order 13985 on January 20, 2021. You know what that means? What does that mean, Curry? It means advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government, which charged the federal government with advancing equity for all, including communities that have long been underserved, and addressing systemic racism in our nation's policies and programs. By advancing equity, the federal government can support and empower all Americans, including many communities in America that have been underserved, discriminated against, and adversely affected by the persistent poverty and inequality that comes out of slavery. We can also deliver resources and benefit equitably to the people of the United States and rebuild trust in the government. Give that some praise. We don't need any more slogans. We don't need any speeches. We don't even need an apology. We need what Senator Marco Rubio is doing. Senator Marco Rubio and also Senator Rick Scott and other colleagues have reintroduced to Congress the Holocaust Survivors' Rights Bill. It's called the Holocaust Survivors' Rights Bill. They want to restore it to make sure that our Jewish brethren get paid, and we get that praise. Descendants of child slavery are next. You can Google everything I'm telling you on Big C Sports. I want to also let people know, I want to thank Georgetown University, not because they had a great basketball team under John Thompson and Patrick Ewing and Lonzo Mourning and Allen Iverson. I would think those brothers would be talking about reparations. The late John Thompson, he preached how to play basketball, but Patrick Ewing, Lonzo Mourning, Allen Iverson, they're still around. In Georgetown University, that same one that said, we won the games. I mean, think about it. Georgetown University, this happened September 15, 2023. They pledged over $1 billion to only 272 descendants of chattel slavery that helped build Georgetown. They were selling children. Donations hope to be a crucial step in rectifying the injustice enacted upon 272 enslaved men, women, and children. You have children? They were sold from Jesuit plantations to settle Georgetown's debts. In 1838, it's been on CNN. It's not about Big C Sports. This has been on CNN. The long-term plan of Georgetown is to pledge over $1 billion to the Descendants Truth and Reconciliation Foundation. You gotta give that some praise. They're not like our athletes on TV shucking and jiving and don't even talk about it. Remember the Me Too movement when white ladies were saying that they were being assaulted by white men in Hollywood? Remember that? Wasn't it all over the news? Weren't there attorneys like Gloria Allred getting on TV trying to find people that had things happen to them in the past? And no one said, "Oh, we don't deserve. Those women don't deserve any compensation. They don't deserve." That was a long time ago. No one said that. They sometimes try to use that argument when it comes to black Americans who built this country for free. Below also sent me National Payout Committee of the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me this article from the United Nations. It says strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. You got to give that some praise. Everything I'm saying, I'm documenting it. You can Google it for yourself. Who would not be for reparations? There are people right now with Halloween. And please be safe out there in the streets knocking on strangers' doors asking for candy. With the fentanyl problem, you don't know what they're putting in your bag. But there are people out there with their children trying to be safe. Now imagine if your child went missing for even 10 seconds. How about a minute? How about an hour? How about a whole day? How about a whole year? How about 1865 going back to 1619? They had no rights. And they have a receipt. People look at Ancestry.com, want to see where they came from. If you're a black American in this country, you're born here, most likely you come from lineage that has been at one time sold, lynched, raped. When people are looking for their kids tonight for Halloween and they can't find that little child for maybe 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, you almost have a heart attack for 10 to 15 seconds. And then you still got some Southern Confederates that are in Congress saying, well, we don't deserve, the Negro don't deserve reparations. That stuff happened over 150 years ago. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, how in the world can he look someone in the eye and say that people who've been treated so egregious that even President Abraham Lincoln said we deserve, that descendants of chattel slavery deserve reparations? They got a drunken love of football, basketball, baseball, touchdown, home run, three-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. Light the beam, light the beam, light the beam. And you got Congress right now deciding if they're going to pay out reparations to descendants of chattel slavery. And I even find some ignorant black folks that say, it ain't never going to happen. They ain't read nothing. Ain't read nothing in my best English. It's important. You got to give BC Sports some praise because I've been talking about this stuff for a long time, and now I'm starting to see some vindication. I'll get into a little bit of your sports too, Like that's what they want. That's what the Southern Confederates want us to do. Just get them drunk on sports. They love playing with balls. King Charles has an interest in slavery and reparations. King Charles, of England, the Whig Society. King Charles may have an interest in the conversation around slavery and reparations in Britain. Think about that. Commonwealth citizens deported and denied their legal rights reflected on a recent announcement by Buckingham Palace. Oh, Big C, what do you know about Buckingham Palace? And the palace said earlier this year that the king supported research into the royal family's links to slavery. Where they were selling off children and lynching men and raping women. That horrible past. As people want to celebrate. And it says, it's important. They want to support research into the royal family's links to slavery by allowing academics access to the royal collection and archives. Historical Royal Places is assisting Dutch academics, scholars, and PhDs on the role of the Royal African Company on slavery, as it was established by 2 British kings. You got to think about this. Published back on Friday, April 14th, Henry, he said he thinks that King Charles has an interest in the Prince's Trust works with working class people, black people, brown people. He has an interest. And they want to consider reparations. Give that some praise. Big C's not crazy after all. They said that racism is commonplace in the United Kingdom, with more senior black staff needed across the industry. Prince Edward mingles with, it was Lenny Henry and Michael Palin at Radio Times Covers Party. And this is important because it's hard to find black Americans in the United States outside of Big C Sports that's willing to talk about this stuff. Imagine if we had like one more person. Just one! He said, I think it's going to be a thing where people are talking about reparations in terms of justice. That some people need to be given a leg up, not a handout. The way white people were. The way white people got the Homestead Act in 1862. 276 million acres of land! It was given to white people for free. Well, that's not true, Curry. Oh, yes, it was. Oh, you're right. Even white Europeans got the land. Not the people that built it. It's like collecting an insurance policy. When you collect an insurance policy, it goes to the beneficiaries. Unless somebody is quick enough to steal the money. And there are crooked people who will steal the money right in front of you. But when the law gets involved, they get to get that money back, plus many will go to prison. Black Americans aren't asking the country to send people to prison. They're just asking for what was due. The reparations. There are people say, oh, we don't deserve no reparations. Let them go home and their house was broken into. What would they do? They're going to call the police. Police, we've been robbed. And they want to file a police report. You think about that manhunt that just happened on the east coast of Maine where that white man was shooting people with an assault rifle and it took him a couple days to find him. They said he shot himself. Look at the manhunt that went on for one person. Now imagine being a slave and you tried to get away like with Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad and you were trying to get away. There were people that were a manhunt. They were on a manhunt to find you, to bring you back to the most brutal form of slavery that's ever existed. We know slavery existed all over the world, but it was the most unusual form here in the United States because you could not earn your freedom. Most places you were captured in war and you could earn your freedom. Not the United States, for the land of the free and the home of the brave. That land. And now they're talking about giving reparations to descendants of child slavery. And when I see our black brethren on TV, they don't even acknowledge what Prince Charles is saying. In Great Britain, they're studying reparations. And people may not even know that many of the slave ships, they were insured by Lords of London to transport those beautiful brown bodies all across the oceans to become free labor for white people. After doing that for nearly 400 years, or 300 years, and then you had another 100 years of Jim Crow, look at the immense wealth that was built up by white Americans. We have United Auto Workers striking. Hollywood just got off a strike. They were striking for more money. And those strikes lasted, what did Hollywood strike last? Maybe a couple of months? A couple of months, people said they want more money or they won't work. Imagine 1619 to 1865. And if you didn't work, you were beaten or lynched. Or your children were sold. Or your wife and your children, they were raped by Massa. And you couldn't even go to the police because you'd have no rights. Not in God's eyes, but in that crooked system that we fought every war for this country. Black Americans fought every war for this country. They worked from cradle to grave. They didn't have no insurance policy. They didn't have a life insurance plan. They didn't have a 401k plan. They didn't have stocks. They didn't have bonds. They had nothing. They gave their heart, mind, body, and soul to this country. Even Wall Street was built on black labor. Wall Street! Built on black labor. A lot of people don't know this unless they follow Big C Sports. You know, there was a lady for Fox Sports that told all of her black athletes, she said, shut up! In dribble. She told them that. So why is Prince Charles saying he's studying reparations for descendants of chattel slavery? You know, people go across the pond to have tea and celebrated the Queen's Elizabeth's passing. She didn't do anything to pay reparations. But people went over there and celebrated a lady that didn't even consider reparations for descendants of chattel slavery. They got all that wealth built up. Where'd it come from? Oh, well, that's in the past, Curry. We don't want to talk about that. Why not? When the Me Too movement happened, they were talking about white ladies that said they were claiming that they were abused by some white men in Hollywood. No one told them don't talk about it. It was on the news all the time. And I want to say it's so important that we get smart people to talk and dumb people just leave the microphone off. Just keep shutting up and dribbling. Just shut up and dribble. But for smart people, learned people that have a heart for doing the right thing, I want to just make sure that I'm a part of that. I don't know everything, but I know how to work with people. In a Congress right now is trying to get this done. We've heard of Sheila Jackson Lee, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, with the H.R. 40. Also, there's many other senators in Congress that have endorsed that bill. You got to give that some praise. I know it's not as important as light the beam, light the beam, light the beam. And seeing this beautiful, intelligent black man running up and down the court making money for white owners and not even willing to talk about paying homage to their family. I know they told you to shut up, and maybe they gave you a few $1 million because of it. But what about the people that you came from? Would you do anything for great-grandma? Would you do anything for grandma, great-great-grandma, grandpa, great-great-grandpa? Those beautiful, intelligent black people that loved you with everything they had. They fed you and clothed you and kept you safe from all the racism that we deal with. Even to this day, we deal with that garbage. And our beautiful, intelligent black men, they say nothing. White man told them, shut up! There have to be some decent white people that you can go to and say the NFL and the NBA should be backing reparations. And you know you should! If not, take all those pictures off your wall of your ancestry. Throw away all the photo albums. You say nothing. Oh, buy my shoes. No, Curry, we tell them buy our shoes. Curry, we tell them come to our movies. Curry, we tell them come watch us play with balls. We tell them come watch us play with the ball. In fact, we might win a championship, Curry. And you got white people saying that we should pay reparations to the descendants of child slavery because what we did was wrong. We got wealthy off of black labor. Imagine when you talk about the wealth gap that the Kerner Commission espoused. This was back during the Lyndon Baines Johnson administration. And the wealth gap that was created by slavery. And then Jim Crow and pig laws and redlining. And separate and unequal education. In the criminal industrious complex. President Biden signed the crime bill to put more black families in prison. He didn't do it to white families. And God has given him a chance as he's breathing to do what President Abraham Lincoln did. It's so simple. He did it for Ukraine. He's doing it for other people. He's signing for the money to be released. Reparations deserve some praise. It's so important. I want to touch on one more thing, or maybe two, you know the way I do it, before I get into some sports. Because a lot of these sports owners, somewhere down the line, their family benefited from slavery. Somewhere down the line, these sports teams owners, where do you think they got the money? Where do you think they got the family wealth? It's so important. It's so important. I want to bring this up before I get into some sports, because it's just in my spirit. This came out of Politico, reparations for African Americans. And behind the math, how California is proposing between $1 million and $3 million in reparations payouts for descendants of child slavery through the California Reparations Task Force. And I've met every single one of them. And I even praise many of them. Shirley Weber's the one that helped Gavin Newsom put together the task force. And I give them all praise on my show. I'm the only sports show that does that. Going to meeting with Senator Bradford soon. New York City legislators, they passed a bill creating the Reparations Study Commission. Give that some praise. It's not just Big C Sports. This is in 2023, people. I know you want to watch Who Won the Game. And it's a shame that as a beautiful, intelligent black man, you get more white politicians than black athletes talking about reparations. And they're thinking, why don't the black men say something about it, Curry? I say, I don't know. Oh, I do know. Because a white lady by the name of Laura Ingham, she told them, she said, shut up! And dribble. And so they listened to her. That's why they do it. Texas lawmakers salute the power of Juneteenth. DC's enslavers got reparations. Freed people got nothing. But they're doing something about it now. They just can't find a lot of people to talk about it. I appreciate California Governor Gavin Newsom. Last I checked, Governor Gavin Newsom, I think he's white. He's not a black man. Not all white people are evil, but nearly every white person in this country has benefited from this system of racism, where you can look at a black kid and say that a 3-year-old boy is causing problems, but a 3-year-old white boy, oh, he just needs a timeout. Black kids are 10 times more likely than white kids to be punished at school or even expelled. Black men are 7 times more likely to be pulled over while driving than a white person. Almost every white person I went to college with were using drugs and drinking and driving. Almost everyone! I can't find one of them that ever got pulled over and incarcerated. I do know some later in life that got pulled over with a DUI and they were arrested. I've seen their pictures on a police blog. But it hasn't hurt them being racist. So the dream of reparations hits a political reality in California. I want to give that some praise because I don't like shucking and driving. This is why you should follow Big C Sports and tell a friend. Big C Sports also is important. I say this because I'm very proud about it. Earlier last week, I had the chance to interview Patrice Mujando Umwamba. He's a presidential candidate for the DRC in Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. He believes in reparations. He loves America. He was on Big C Sports. He's a former football player for the Denver Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs. Give that some praise. It's amazing how when people come together and we realize that it's the right thing to do, from Prince Charles to California Governor Gavin Newsom. Even President Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for Joe, you ain't black. Well, if you don't pass reparations, you ain't getting reelected. Give that some praise. Those days are over. Treat us the same way we've been treating foreign countries. And we know it. It's important. I have so much faith in what's happening in this country right now. It's just so powerful to me. Give Big C Sports some praise, because a lot of guys are still afraid they're shucking and driving. But you watch, when reparations happens, Big C Sports will be the first show in the universe. I'm going to talk about it because I've already been talking about it. And that's my story, and I'm taking with it. I want to ask you to Detroit, Motown. What happened to the Raiders? Raiders moved back to Oakland. What? Deontay, oh my goodness. Adams is one of the best receivers in the league. He got one catch. Detroit, winners of 6. Think about it. They won 26-14 over the Raiders last night on Monday Night Football. Under the lights in the third primetime game of this season, the first at Ford Field in Detroit, the Detroit Lions, they hosted the Las Vegas Raiders for Monday Night Football in a big game for Detroit. Coming off an embarrassing loss to the Baltimore Ravens last week, the football world wondered if Detroit was a real team or were they just kind of paid, like a lot of hype. But when you think about it, the crowd was nuts at Ford Field. They were giving them all praise. And they rebounded on a national stage. And they made the Raiders look like, what happened to the autumn wind was a Raider? What happened to that? Running back David Montgomery, left guard Jonah Jackson did not play, but center Frank Ringnow missed the first game of the season. I'm telling you, I feel like Jared Goff had a decent game last night. The Lions were able to pound the ball against the Raiders defense. They finished with 222 rushing yards against the Raiders defense that just seemed to didn't have the same fight that I thought they'd have coming into the season. The Lions defense also did well. They held the Raiders offense to 157 yards in a 26-14 win. I don't understand what to say. Why the Raiders, I think they went for it on fourth down on their own side of the 50-yard line. They missed it, and Detroit took over from there. There's a running back by the name of Gibbs. They use him a lot, but this time more explosive. The rookie finished 26 carries, 152 yards with his chest in the wind, and a touchdown. He also had 5 catches, 37 yards. And I got my first NFL football game. I saw the Raiders play the Chargers at Cal Berkeley back in the 70s. And they were a feared franchise back then. They moved to Los Angeles, and then moved back to Oakland, and then moved to Las Vegas for more money. But their fan base in Oakland, before they built Mountain Davis and made you have to buy the PSLs, it was a hard place to get a ticket. No matter what it is, that team just does not look like what it could have been. I'm not calling for anyone to lose their job, but there's a lot of players that have lost faith in them. They didn't even play hard. And then Jimmy Garoppolo looks like he was just throwing the ball up for grabs. Doesn't make any sense. He's done that a lot. And I still see where Colin Kaepernick can't even get an interview. And he held the record for the playoffs for the most yards passed and rushed in a game. It was San Francisco at home versus Green Bay, I think 2013, in a playoff game. They won't even give him a job. It was the first Monday Night Football game in Detroit since 2018 The Ford Field crowd did their job. But the Raiders, man, at least in the black hole in Oakland, people dress like it was Halloween all the time. And down in Las Vegas, I know it's a new city. People throw you $2 billion. You know, I'd move to Las Vegas for $2 billion. But the pride of the Raiders, you got a receiver that reminds me of Jerry Rice and Devontae Adams. He gets one pass. One! But that's their story. They're sticking with it. Give Detroit some praise, though. They showed out. I kind of like their blue helmets. The gray uniforms can go. But the blue helmets are nice. I like their gray helmets with their blue jerseys and gray pants. Back in the day, they had that all-strand level wear. The days of Barry Sanders. But that's the story in Detroit. Congratulations. NBA had a trade last night. James Harden. Nobody wanted him but the Clippers. It was a blockbuster deal, and Philadelphia benefits the most. The Harden trade is really going to help Maxey because he can have the ball in his hand more often and get the ball down in the paint to the great Joel Embiid. So the Clippers land James Harden in a deal with the 76ers, and the Sixers aim to maintain focus after the Harden trade, and they will because they have a player that doesn't play defense and is oftentimes very sullen about who he plays for. Now, Joel Embiid, he was fined $35,000 for an obscene gesture. Yeah, you can't do that. He knows that. And the Phoenix Suns, Booker has an ankle injury. He's out the third straight game. And then the Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox, has a moderate ankle sprain. He's out for the game coming up on Wednesday. It's all fair and love and war. But I think the NBA, I really would hope that the NBA, of all the sports leagues, is the one with the most black athletes outside of boxing. And you would think that they would at least get behind Prince Charles and then California Governor Gavin Newsom, California Senator Stephen Bradford, Sheila Jackson Lee, Elizabeth Warren, all these great people that are talking about reparations. New York City's now studying reparations. How did Big C get it first? I've been saying this for 5 years, and some people said, man, you talk too much politics, Curry. You talk too much politics. Now imagine when chattel slavery, descendants of chattel slavery, black Americans get between $1 million and $3 million. It's going to happen in 2024. You heard it first on Big C Sports. And put that money in annuities. There'll be a lot of people coming after the black community saying, buy these things and buy from us. And people that don't love you but all of a sudden have a black friend and they're going to ask you to invest your money into their dream. Put that money in an annuity and live off the interest. That's my opinion. You know, the way white people did when they got the Homestead Act. And the way white people did when they got the GI Bill coming home from the war. They gave black soldiers nothing. The same way the Marshall Plan rebuilt Europe after the war. They did nothing for black Americans. It was a worldwide assault on black bodies. And now even Prince Charles is saying that we need to pay reparations for descendants of chattel slavery. Give that some praise! If we could just find a few black men to say the same thing. But they're afraid of Laura Ingraham. I know Laura Ingraham carries a big stick. And I know a lot of our big, strong brethren, they're afraid. Now, they'll get on TV and radio and they'll talk really loud and tough about how big and fast somebody is. But this is a seminal moment in the history of this country. We talk about no reparations, no vote. Get out and vote and ask every politician, what's your thoughts on reparations? Prince Charles believes in reparations. Great Britain studying to pay reparations because they participated by insuring all the slave ships with Lloyd's of London. And they benefited also from slavery. Now, slavery existed everywhere in the world, but not the kind of slavery we had in the United States. You could not earn your freedom in the United States. And white people know it. That's how they built up immense wealth. They didn't have to pay it. Talk about Ford Motor Company and United Auto Workers going on strike because they want a few more dollars on their hourly wage. And what the strike last, a month? What did the strike last in Hollywood? A couple of months? Because they wanted a few more dollars. They said, we're not going to work. Well, black Americans, if they didn't work, they were murdered. They were lynched. Or they were beaten. Their children were sold off. You know, selling off children the same way you sell some groceries. The same way a grocery store sells groceries. The same way you sell livestock. From a country that we call, oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. going to do my part. I'm going to keep saying it. Reparations now. Reparations forever. I'm going to keep doing it. Got the 49ers. They made some noise. The Washington Commanders trade Chase Young to the 49ers for a third-round pick. And I think the trade is going to be great for San Francisco with Armstead and Bosa and now Young on that front line. And they got Jackson. They got some great players in San Francisco. They still got to get Deebo Samuel back. And they got to get their offensive line healthy. But Chase Young to the 49ers for a third-round pick. It was announced today. The move cut ties with the most productive pass rusher this season. And they think about this. He can change a defense. He can change a franchise. When you think about it, especially after trading fellow defensive end Montez Sweat to the Chicago Bears for a 2024 second-round pick early in the day, Young would have been a free agent after the season anyway. Washington declined to pick up his fifth-year option in the offseason. It would have paid him about $17 million. And when you think about what he's done for the 49ers, the trade for Young comes a day after Coach Kyle Shanahan. He said that General Manager John Lynch was working the phones but was unsure what players might be available to bolster a team right in a 3-game losing streak. Well, because of a missed field goal and a quarterback that seemed to be a little bit concussed in Brock Purdy. That's cost the 49ers. And as I mentioned many times, how does Big C understand so many things that have happened with the 49ers? I told you because of various reasons and the ability to have a worldwide reach on Big C Sports last week. I had a teammate of John Lynch, and he played for the Denver Broncos, Patrice Majondo Mwamba. He's a presidential candidate for the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Give that some praise. He was on Big C Sports. And now his teammate John Lynch made a trade for Chase Young. How does Big C get that happen? How? I got a friend by the name of Harry. He introduced me. Also developing soccer leagues. But you know, no matter what you think about athletes, I'm so proud that I've been doing a study on reparations under much scrutiny from people who are kind of what I call knuckleheads. And now you have the United States Congress, you have California government, you have the government of New York City, the state of New York, you have Prince Charles of England, and you have many congressmen and senators in the United States that are championing reparations now, reparations forever. But you only have one sports show that's doing the same thing. And that's what this is. But others will follow. I heard a long time ago, you either lead, follow, or get out of the way. And I think everybody that comes to the aid of what Big C Sports is trying to do, this stuff will help. It will help the American economy. They should pass reparations before Christmas, before the holidays. You think it would stimulate the economy? I got some things that I'm doing with Big C Sports when it comes to estate planning. Going to be rolling out here in the month of November, and I'm looking to bring aboard over 1,000 insurance agents and real estate brokers to put people back to work. Give that some praise. Over 1,000 insurance brokers and real estate brokers to put people to work. That's coming through Big C Sports. It's more than just a sports show. And that's what I appreciate about God giving me that opportunity. So much is in the mind of trying to create liberty and justice for all. And I love doing that with Big C Sports. I know coming up, there's a lot of basketball on play that we're looking at. And I wish the best for all of our basketball players. But I really want to implore the beautiful black men that play NBA basketball. When you talk about your ancestry and your grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents and where you come from with the holidays coming up, imagine how happy they are looking down from heaven, realizing that you were no longer willing to be frightened by someone that said, "Shut up!" When Laura Ingham looks at her legacy, she probably came from family that owned slaves. So of course she says shut up because She doesn't want you to have what she has, which is white skin privilege in the United States. I want people also to start looking at and paying attention to the National Black Wall Street Project, because to me it's so important. You can Google nationalblackwallstreetproject.com, and Big C Sports is part of that. And we're in all 50 states. It's about economic empowerment, justice, and equality for all. And the president and CEO is the inimitable Reverend Tony Pierce, the president and CEO of the National Black Wall Street Project. They have chapters in Beverly Hills, California, Los Angeles, California, National Black Contractors Association, Young Black Contractors, Black American Political Association of California, Women in the NAACP, 1619 Reparations Party, and Americans for Social Justice. And now you even have Prince Charles of England championing reparations. Now will you listen? The Black Wall Street Global Project is on a mission to elevate our community with a sense of righteousness and economic education for people of color. With over 50 years of experience, give that some praise. Over 50 years of experience contributing toward community growth, and we're adept at amplifying economic recovery for international stability. And Big C Sports is a part of that. Give that some praise. Working with brother Liam Shabazz and working with Double O, part of the chair and payout committee for the National Black Wall Street. Our passionate team is committed to helping people and improving the lives of people to make a profit. Invested in creating an environment of generational wealth, equality, education. Ensuring that we all have a strong mind and lucrative economic changes. We organize and educate for justice and empower lives globally. You got to give that some praise, because the California governor, Gavin Newsom, he's talking about it too. Also, President Biden, he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Well, if you don't pass reparations, you ain't getting reelected. And that's a fact. We all deserve liberty and justice for all. It's time that we honor President Abraham Lincoln. We all got to be a solution to it. I know we want to watch touchdown, home run, three-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sports is a billion-dollar industry. I even know here in Northern California, there's some financial, I guess you could call, powerhouses that give out news on financial and Wall Street reports. They're also adding a sports segment to their financial literacy. Give that some praise. Where do you think they learned that? They're now talking about a sports segment as they talk about Wall Street. Think about that. I'm not the only one. I'm just the first one. And you can give that some praise. Of course, the World Series, wishing the best to the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers, that they can swing the bat, runners on first and third. That counts for the pitch. Curveball. Swung on. Hit deep. Center field. Back to the wall. Okay. Say hello to my little Reds. I love the saying the girls love the long ball and men love to hit deep. You know, so much about doing a sports show. I have no scripts. I have no three-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear. I do my show with my higher self. And I believe in Ephesians 3:20, where it says, God is able to give to you above and beyond all you could ask or think. And I believe that. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber. You can call Lyft. You can walk it off. You can sleep it off. But don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car after they've been drinking. The life you save may be your own or someone you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. That also comes from the California Highway Patrol. Don't drink and drive. Make this the year that no one loses a life because of drinking and driving. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. As I always tell you, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat, because listening to Big C Sports talk about all that reparations now, reparations forever, makes me want to dance on my feet. And that's why I can't be beat. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911, because things change when the police show up. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. As I always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. Now we honor President Abraham Lincoln on Happy Halloween. What did he always say? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. Come on, let's say it like your team just won the game that you can't wait to go to. What did President Abraham Lincoln say? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. Let's say it one more time that your team has won the championship of the universe. What did President Abraham Lincoln tell Prince Charles he told President Biden and every governor of California to do? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.